It's eating my soul. I can feel it every day I go to work, and everything lights me up when I start doing headshots. That's it. I'm done with this. I'm out at 2 a.m. on some mountain ridge trying to capture the Milky Way in the freezing cold. And then COVID kicked in. If I hit the lottery tomorrow, I would still be doing headshots.
How do you move to a brand new city during a global lockdown and build a thriving business all from scratch? Welcome back to the Conversations with Florid, and today I'm sitting with Reid Lucier. Reid moved to London all the way from West Coast, doing 3D animations, motion capturing, working with comic designs to capture top 1% professionals' confidence here in our city. In this episode, we have discussed the exact strategy that he has applied in order to network with the right people in the community and how you can do the same. We talked about his entrepreneurship journey, his background work in 3D animation, motion capturing, working with top artists and actors, and a little bit about his personal journey as well. So ladies and gentlemen, here is Reid Lucier. Welcome, Reid. It's so nice to have you in the podcast, and we were chatting all the things that you have completed or achieved over LinkedIn past week. And It's so fascinating that you have built a brand within this COVID period, 2019, 2020, where majority of the businesses are failing, and there are so many businesses are going bankrupt as well at the same time. And that was the time you have built an entire business, which is something it's still scaled at a point where most of the people in London, Ontario knows you. So how did this all come up, and what was the moment when you realized that, hey, I need to be an entrepreneur, or what was that aha moment for you?
Right. That's a big question. I got quite the journey. Do we have time to talk about it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so it actually started here at Fanshawe College. So I was here, I was in a program called Multimedia Design and Production. And it was a really cool course. It had a lot of things I was interested in, like video editing, Photoshop, Illustrator, all things I end up using later in my life. And our final term, we got introduced to 3D animation. Well, 3D basically. And that was just one of those, like I've had a lot of aha moments. And that was one of them where it's just kind of like, whoa, like this just opened up my creative field, like exponentially, like 3-dimensionally, I guess you could even say, like super cool stuff. And I'm like, I like this. So I graduated here from Fanshawe and I wanted more of that. And I found a course at Humber College in Toronto called 3D animation for video games. And just like that thing, you're kind of learning 3D modeling, 3D lighting, rigging, animation. And then at that course, I was introduced to motion capture. You know what that is?
No.
No? Okay. Motion capture, the spotlight kind of hit motion capture during the time of Lord of the Rings. You know that movie?
Yes.
Remember Gollum?
Yes.
That my precious guy? Yeah. So Andy Serkis was the actor for him. And in motion capture, basically those guys in the black tight suits with the white reflector balls.
Yes.
And whatever they do, the cameras pick it up and they transfer it to 3D characters.
Wow.
So yeah, that's in like every single video game, all your Marvel movies, all that cool stuff. And so they had a motion capture system at that school, and I was learning that. And that was one of those things where I like this kind of thing. This is really cool. So yeah, our final project was to make a demo reel. And I'll never forget this. I was chatting with my professor, and this is kind of irrelevant, but it's kind of a cool thing he kind of mentioned to me. So he's like, listen, it's a one-on-one chat with him. And he's like, you got to narrow down what you want to do for your last term for a demo reel. And I'm like, okay, well, I kind of like this. I kind of like that. And what he said to me was like, don't think of it like that. Think about what you don't want to do. And it just sort of flipped my whole mindset. I'm like, well, I don't want to do rigging, and I don't want to do lighting, and I don't want to do keyframe. And just sort of narrowed it all down to motion capture. Anyways, I made a really cool demo reel. In my mind, after school, all the work was over in BC or California. So after school, after graduating, I busted my ass off, if I can say that, sorry. I worked really hard, sending out these demo reels to all these companies out there, all on the West Coast. And what ended up happening was a company from Halifax on the East Coast here in Canada contacted me and said, hey, we need a motion capture guy. So I went out there and I worked on a kids TV show for a year called Bo and the Go that was on CBC. And then we get the news of, hey, we're going to close down the motion capture studio. So I'm like, oh, geez, great. That's fun. So I ended up moving out to Victoria, BC. Now, this is where I picked up a camera. I've always kind of liked photography, but I didn't really take it seriously or anything. But moving out to BC, I don't know if you've been out there. No?
Not
Okay,
yet.
well, put on your list there, bud.
Sure.
The mountains, the ocean, the lakes. I'm like, I got to capture this. And at the time, I think my phone was like an iPhone 3GS. You know, you think the photos are good on that, but I'm like, I'm going to go buy a professional camera. Professional. It wasn't very professional. Anyways, I thought this camera was going to make my photos great. So I went out and I took some photos and I looked at the back of the camera. I'm like, these are all garbage. And then I was actually genuinely a little disappointed.
Yeah.
A little peeved off about it. I thought the camera was actually going to make the photos better. So then you just kind of have to realize, you know, it's not the camera, it's the person. I guess I have to learn this thing. So I started picking up on landscape photography. And while I'm out in BC, I ended up getting a job over in Vancouver doing motion capture again. So I'm at a whole new studio, Rainmaker studio. I got a whole team this time working with, and I'm there for a year and I'm getting to work on all kinds of cool games like Resident Evil and Mortal Kombat, games I grew up on, right?
Yes.
And I'm just like over the moon, happy about this job. Super fun. And then we get the dreaded news again. Hey, we're going to close down the motion capture studio. I'm like, oh my God. Like animation, the animation field is, you know, you're hired, you're laid off. You're hired, it's tough. Like you got to be tough. So I'm like, okay. So my team, a lot of them moved out to Toronto to go work at Ubisoft. And they're like, hey, if you want, we could probably get you a job here. I'm like, dude, I just got out west. I haven't even explored this side of the country yet. I'm not going. So I ended up getting a job at Vancouver General Hospital as their multimedia tech photographer guy. So at this point, I'm doing some photos and stuff, and this is where the headshots start to come in. My manager says, hey, we got a doctor here that needs a headshot. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So we had a whole photo studio with lights and all this backdrops and stuff, and I don't know the slightest thing about this stuff. He's like, well, you're a photographer, right? I'm like, a landscape photographer. I'm out at 2 a.m. on some mountain ridge trying to capture the Milky Way in the freezing cold. I have no idea how to deal with a doctor and pose them. I don't know how to turn these lights on. So I got basically thrown to the wolves. Like, learn now, fast. Like, you got to do it. So
yeah,
and that's kind of how it started. So I started doing that. And then eventually I moved to BC Cancer as their full-time photographer guy. So now I'm doing headshots for doctors. I'm doing events. I'm going to other hospitals, photographing all that stuff. While on the side, now I got I went and bought lights like this with softboxes, and I'm kind of in the community of actors, models, makeup artists. So there's like Facebook groups where we all kind of collaborate. And like, let's just say you're a model and like, hey, let's go out and do some photos. Cool, I got a light in a softbox and that. And it really just opens up the world. It's another like aha moment. Like, what if I had 2 lights? Well, cool with that light. Like now, like look at you got the rim light on you. What if I had 3 lights now? And like your creative like palette just gets bigger and bigger, and like
sure,
I could do better things. And I'm really starting to like this stuff, and I'm doing it on the side. I'm starting to make a name for myself. And I'm at that job at the hospital, and I've got it made there, man. Like I could do whatever I want. Since I'm always out doing photos and stuff, I could leave for Tim Hortons for an hour and a half and no one have a clue. And I'm doing all this stuff. And so I go out for lunch one day and I run into my buddy Graham, who was one of the guys I worked with doing motion capture, that was out east in Toronto doing motion capture. He came back and started his own motion capture studio. And I'm there and it's his team and we're chatting. And about a week or 2 later, he calls me up. He's like, man, it's good seeing you the other day. He's like, I miss having you around. He's like, that guy that we were out for lunch, we just fired him actually. So you want to come back to motion capture? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like I got it pretty good right now. He's like, I got this photography thing on the side. He's like, I'll sweeten the deal, man. You can come in like 3-4 times a week. You can still do your photography. I'm like, okay, all right, screw it. Let's do it. So I go back to motion capture again.
Yeah.
And this is a huge passion of mine. Like I've always loved motion capture, but it hit different this time, man. Like the shoots are fun. You're meeting actors, performers, athletes. Like we were in Burnaby, rented the hockey rink for like a week to do the NHL motion capture for all the video games.
Yes.
But the days that weren't the shoot days, you're on the computer for like 9 hours cleaning data. And it's just mind numbing. And I was not liking it anymore. I wasn't liking it at all. I would actually like show up to work like 20 minutes early and just sit in my car, almost like motivating myself to get out there. And again, like headshots are on the side, doing pretty good. And it just came to the point where, so this motion capture studio was actually in the basement of Vancouver Film School, which is a massive film school here in Canada. And they had a deal saying, hey, if you hire new hires, the government will step in and pay half their wage. So if these kids were coming in and they're paying them $20 an hour, he's only have to pay 10.
Yeah.
And I was getting about $30 an hour. And he came up to me one day. He's like, Reid, he's like, I need you to step it up to about 3 times. Like, can you do like 3 people's amount of work? It's 3 people. I'm like, no, no, I can't. And it's just one of those things where it's like, well, I mean, I can get these people to come in and can you match that? I'm like, no. So we had a chat and I'm like, that's it. I'm done with this. I'm doing photography. Like it's my passion. I like it. I don't like doing this motion capture thing anymore. It's eating my soul. I can feel it every day I go to work and everything lights me up when I start doing headshots. So then we parted ways, no hard feelings. He got what he wanted, a bunch of people for cheaper, and I got to do what I wanted. And that lasted for about a few months, and then COVID kicked in.
Yeah.
And then I ended up moving back to London.
Wow.
So it's a heck of a journey.
Sure.
But yeah, I think I'm very happy where I am right now.
Awesome. You mentioned about motion photography. Can you talk more about it? What it is actually?
Like motion capture?
Yes, motion capture.
Yeah. So when you have those suits and you have these reflector balls,
yes,
all these infrared cameras will shoot like the light off it and it reflects back and it just collects all the data. So in the end, you'll kind of have a stick person with all these markers on them. So if he's like punching someone,
yes,
the stick figure's punching, and then you got to clean that data because some of these markers, the computers and the cameras might swap them out and the hand will flip.
Yeah.
So my job when I was saying I'm cleaning data, if a hand flips, I got to take that marker and flip it with that on this whole data timeline. It's like tedious. And this, when we're talking like, that's just regular. If 2 guys are wrestling on the floor and markers fall off, like it's just a nightmare. And anyways, it's on all the video games. Right. That's why all the motions are so realistic now and super, like the technology is amazing. Like I'm not going to knock that at all, but
all those data points were creating, I believe, a kind of a hologram of that particular person or whatever wrestling or this theme that you are shooting of. And your job was to just making sure that all those holograms or the markers, if they fall off, just to put it back.
Yeah. So it's basically like a data point in 3D space.
Yes. Yes.
And they all have like left wrist.
Yes.
Left knuckle.
Yeah.
Elbow left, elbow right, elbow middle, and like so. It's a whole 3D data set that the camera's create into a 3D scene.
Now I can imagine how tedious that work would be.
It sucks.
Because if as you mentioned, if your hands turns this, which is not supposed to, this whole data point, tons of data points, hundreds of data points that you have to flip back. And
yes. And that's just one body part.
That's just one body part.
Then you're looking at the knee. Then you're looking at the feet because the feet are the worst part.
Yes.
And the foot goes over, or like, the knee swaps with the shin. And
right.
So you're looking at every single body part for the entire animation. And then there's multiple people. Sometimes you got 20 people on the screen at once.
Yes.
And you're doing every single person. They're all interacting. And that guy's marker, because they're just Velcro.
Yeah.
You interact with that guy and that marker ends up on that person because it sticks to the suit. And now you got this long line that stretches out to that person. You're like, take that, go back, put that. Anyways, we're talking headshots here. But
Yes.
yeah.
You mentioned you have moved a lot just because of the industry that you are in,
Yes.
motion capturing, and getting a job laid off, getting a job laid off. Is it still common in current times?
Oh yeah. Yeah, these video game companies lay off all the time. It's tough. It's tough.
What is that reason that you see often of being laid off? Is it companies do not have enough work, or maybe they are not producing enough, or maybe the contract ends? Let's say if it's for a movie, to a production house, if the contract ends and they have to lay off, is it something like that?
A lot of it's contract based. So when I got into motion capture, actually it's kind of funny. When I was in Victoria,
Yes.
how I got the job in Vancouver, I was actually looking for work in Vancouver, in Victoria, and I found this job. I started Monday, and then I found out there's this motion capture meetup over in Vancouver,
Wow.
which is across the water there. And it's never been in Vancouver. All the years I've followed motion capture, it's always been in LA. I'm like, I gotta go, and that was on a Wednesday. So I just get this job. It's my first day. It's Monday. I find out about this motion capture thing that's on Wednesday. I tell my boss, hey, I'm not going to be here on Thursday. It's like, this is your first week, man. I'm like, don't worry. I didn't care about this job. It's just something to get by. And so I go off on Wednesday night. I go work my shift Wednesday night, take the ferry over there. I'm at this industry mixer. I'm meeting all these guys that were working on like some high-end movies. And I'm having a good time. And at the very end of the night, this guy comes up to me. He's like, hey, I didn't meet you. Like, if people are already leaving. I'm like, yeah, I'm Reid. He's like, yeah, I'm Tony. What do you do? I'm like, oh, I worked on this TV show. I kind of want to get back into it. He's like, cool. He's like, yeah, I work here in Vancouver and stuff. I'm like, oh, right on. And that was it. And then that was Wednesday night. I come back on Thursday. I go to my job on Friday, and probably Friday by noon, I get a phone call from Tony. Hey, it's Tony. You remember me? Yeah. Yeah, well, listen, I got a job for you doing motion capture. It's only a month contract. It's here in Vancouver, and you start Monday. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, Monday. Can you do it? I'm like, yeah, all right. So I go to my boss. I'm like, hey, yeah, I quit. He's like, what are you even doing, man? I'm like, this is my passion. I really don't care about this job. And I didn't. But it was just something to get by, right? And There I go. And that was just a month contract. And it just kind of like, if you're good and they still have work and they liked me, so they like continued it to a 6 month. And I think I was there for like just over a year before they closed the department down. But that's just one of those things. It's like, man, like, what do I do? Do I risk this job I just, worked hard to get and go over there and for a month? Who knows? Like, I might have to come back and find work again.
Sure.
You got to take that risk, right?
Absolutely. So this is very common, even with the people that I meet on a day-to-day basis. It is some part of your brain wants you to do this, and some part of your brain wants you to do this, or maybe your heart wants you to do this.
Yeah.
Which one to pick? Because if you think emotionally, you might want to do your photography thing. You might want to work on your passion. And on the other part, you want to make money because you have to make your living as well at the same time.
Yeah.
And the other part the brain part will let you choose that, hey, pick this, it's paying good, and you maybe still be in the industry.
Yeah.
How do you manage those? Different waves coming from yourself?
That's the logic versus passion, situation.
Yes.
So like when I left that cushy BC cancer job, right?
Yeah.
Benefits, do whatever I want. Or do I go back to a field where it's contract based? If they lose some contracts, I'm one of the first person that's going to get cut. I had a daughter at the time. She was just young. She was probably like 3 at the time, maybe. So you just, I don't know, man. Follow your passion. Kind of like what I mentioned earlier. What don't you want to do, right? Well, I don't really want to do this forever, but I do really like motion capture. So do I risk it? Do I take it? And if I didn't, who knows?
Right.
who knows where I'd be? I'd probably still be at the hospital. Or who knows? I don't know, man. But you got to take the risk. You got to take the risk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, let's move forward with your headshot photography that you are doing at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
You're charging a premium, at least in my point of view.
Right. Okay.
How do you manage, or how do you confidently charge that premium, even in this market? When I say even in this market, we have tools. We have AI tools where you just feed, for an example, 10 photos of yours.
Yeah.
And it is just going to give you a headshot, not just one, multiple.
Yeah.
So how do you manage that? How do you still make this business working for you?
Pricing it's a tricky situation, man. Like even right from the start, when you start thinking you're good enough that maybe you can start charging money, and you're like, I don't know if anyone's going to pay for it. Even me, I've been doing this for years, and every year I raise the price, and it scares the crap out of me every time. I get that gut punch feeling like, oh my God, like, am I going to lose all my past clients? Like, I've done so much work, working with the realtors and the people in the banks, and are they going to go to someone else? And you question yourself all the time. But then again, that whole last year is all the experience you've been doing, right? And sometimes you got to take the focus off pricing and focus more on what you're providing, right? So I think I know there's hundreds of photographers out there, competing on price, but very few are competing on like quality and experience. Sure. And I think that's where I put myself up there. So instead of me thinking about the price, I think about, well, what can I do better for my clients? Like 99% of them come in and they don't want their headshots taken. They're like, oh, Reid, you're going to hate me. I don't like getting my photo taken, or I'm not photogenic. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And we do kind of what we did here. We chat for a bit, and then we get in front of the lights, and then we just work it, right? And once they see their photos and like ease them, I'm like, this is what I do. I make the ones that nervous and don't want to get it done actually love their photos by the end of the shoot. And now I can just do it really quicker, like a lot quicker. So maybe we book out an hour, but you're done in 15 minutes. I'm just, so every year I'm getting better. And like, how can I make you the best you look fast? Not that I'm trying to I don't put a time limit on anything, but it's almost a little internal challenge for me. Like, can I get them amazing photos within this sort of time limit type thing? And as for the AI, I love AI. There's no fighting against it. It's here. It's good. The realistic images and video now, I'm excited for it. I like it. I don't know if you remember when Google VO3 came out with that video demo. It's just a video of like a fake car show. I don't know if you saw that, and they're just kind of like, oh, never thought I'd be a minivan guy, and they're laughing. I'm like, I'm watching this video. I'm like, okay, we just hit the point in AI where we have to start questioning what's real and what's not, right?
Yes.
And to me, that's, it's scary a little bit, but it's also exciting in the creative, because I like doing creative stuff too, right? And the more realistic my stuff can look, it's cool. As for AI headshots, I don't think it's going to replace photographers. Maybe the below average ones. Like if you're charging $50, $100 something, I think if that's their budget, I don't think they would care enough about their image to be like, well, do I want to pay $100 or do I want to get AI to do it? Whereas top CEOs and people that have to photograph a whole team, they're not going to be like, hey, we got 20 people on our team. We don't want to pay for someone. Everybody send me 30 selfies and we'll do an AI version. And it's going to look like garbage. Like they want someone that's going to come in there and basically make their job easy and make them look good. And I think that's one of my favorite things is I actually had someone reach out to me after a shoot. They hired me to photograph their team. And they're like, you made me look like an all-star, to our team, right? I'm like, good, because that's a bit of a daunting task. If your boss is like, hey, Florid, we got 20 employees in the headshots, go find a photographer. You don't want to pick the wrong guy or woman or whatever. You don't want to pick the wrong person. And then everyone doesn't like you because they don't like their photos. You're gonna have to pay someone again, and they have to go back and get nice again, and it's a whole ordeal. So I think, people hire me for kind of make that easy and make them look good, and that's just something that AI is just not going to replace.
Absolutely. You kind of made me convince
Yeah,
that AI is not a threat for your industry.
I don't think so.
At least not at this point. Something down the line, you also mentioned the premium that you are charging is all for the experience that you give to your clients.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's more valuable than anything else.
Well, I think that's the hard part to kind of like explain to people, right?
Yes.
Because they see, oh, it's just a photo. It is. Yeah.
Yes.
And lighting and camera, that's half of it, right? But to get those nerves down, to get that genuine smile out, when they, like I tether to a laptop so people can see exactly what we're doing in real time. And we sit down together and we go over the images. And when they see their headshot and they're like, oh, that's me. Like, that's me. Like, my friends, my family, my husband, my wife, they'll know. Like, that's my smile. That's
Absolutely.
like, AI is not getting that. You got the dead eyes still a bit, I think that's just a big part of it, is the experience, I think. And that's something hard to market, I think.
Earlier on the podcast show, we had another guest who mentioned something about the similar thing. Let's say you want to get a water of bottle at a convenience store. You get the same bottle of water at a high-end restaurant versus you get the same bottle of water probably in a plane.
Right.
You will see the one difference in the price, and that's all because of the environment.
Yes.
So it's the same water of bottle, costing probably $2. It just, the environment changes, and along with the price.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing. So it's all about experience, and it's all about making them comfort in order to get that real smile, real the person they can go out and share their headshot with the network they have, and this is gonna boost their confidence.
100%. Yeah, it's headshots that they're proud of now, right? They're like, oh my god, like, you should see my old headshot. I don't even want to show that anymore, or whatever. So now they got something that they're proud to show off, and every time after a shoot, almost every single person, like, that was a lot easier than I thought. Like, thank you. Like, I came in here nervous. I didn't want to be here, and now I'm leaving knowing I have a headshot coming to me that I'm super proud of, and I can't wait to, add it to my LinkedIn, my social media, my business card, my advertising, whatever they're going to use it for. And now they're super excited for it. So, and that lights me up because I know what it's like. Like, look at me. First thing I started like on here, oh, this isn't intimidating, looking at all the lights on you and stuff, but
right,
we're having a good time.
Absolutely. Coming back to London after almost a decade, maybe.
Yes.
And things have changed, right? When you're not in the city for like 10 years, a lot of migration has happened during that time. Maybe a lot of your friends and family have moved out or moved into London. Coming back to London after this time and starting a business right in middle of COVID, how challenging was that? And what was your first step? How did you actually start it? You mentioned that you had the background doing headshots on the side in West Coast. How did you start here in London? I mean, in order to get started, you need people,
right,
who want their headshots to be taken. How did you network? How did you get started, basically?
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I mean, we literally got here, like, I think it was like the first day of the first lockdown.
Yeah.
So it was like the drive from the airport to my house was like vacant city. It's just wild just to see that. And obviously there's no networking. I figured, obviously networking is like one of the biggest things to get your name out there. So there was some online ones. Actually, to be honest, when I first moved here, I wasn't even promoting headshots that much. I had a service called Comic Kids, And that's like all about photo compositing. So basically, a kid would come in dressed as their favorite superhero, and they would do like the punches and the action poses and all that stuff. And we'd take the favorite photo, and I'd go into Photoshop and use all my photo compositing skills and make it look like a action movie poster.
Wow.
And it was super cool because I like being creative, and Photoshop, I've been doing Photoshop for like, I don't know, 24 years. So it was super cool. And that was something I was kind of promoting. But once and I did some shoots here and there and stuff. But once things started to open up a bit, people need headshots. So I'm like, I'm getting more headshots than comic kids. And I'm like, well, all these people, I go to networking things, they're all business professionals. They all need headshots. So I just shifted my energy that way. And then that just sort of took off.
How long was that? How long that took?
Wow, I don't know how long we're in lockdowns for. Like a couple of years.
Probably a couple of years, yeah.
Yeah. So very, very, very slow start to the business.
Right.
But I think once things started to open up and people were, more comfortable getting out of their house and with, and with crowds and stuff, that's when it just sort of picked up again. Yeah.
Absolutely. You mentioned about comic. What was that? So,
Yeah.
I was even going through your profile, and you have mentioned Whiplash.
Whiplash. Yeah.
What is that? Is it just something similar to that?
That was just for fun, man. I was out west, and like I said, I worked with a lot of models and actors and stuff. And a buddy said, "Hey, I got some makeup artists that wants to do some zombie stuff. Do you want to photograph it?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, I love zombie stuff, right?" And now I got my light setups and stuff. And I thought, instead of just doing a photo shoot, why don't we kind of make like a bit of a story? So he had some realistic looking BB guns. Yeah, I think they were BB guns. And I just kind of storyboarded this thing where it's like a zombie grabs some person out of a car, drags them down. The two heroes come in, shoot the zombie. More zombies come. And I'm photographing all this stuff. And then when I started editing it, I found this style that kind of looked like a lot of like a comic book, but photographic comic book. And I'm like, this is cool, man. I think I'm going to try and make this into like a, 3 or 4 page comic book.
Absolutely.
So I started editing like that. And then I showed the people that I worked with, and they're just blown away. And it didn't leave my mind. I liked it so much. And I think probably like 6 months to a year later, it kept nestling around my head. And then I'm like, that's it.
Sure.
I reached out to those guys. I'm like, listen, you guys want to do this again, but like for real? We'll get more people, more zombies. I'll storyboard a whole comic book type thing. They're like, yeah. So then I went to go sit down to like write a comic book, and I realized I don't know how to write anything. So I found another dude that was like a big comic book fan, and we'd go out for beers and chat about it. And he wrote it. I storyboarded it. We went out and photographed it. And it took me forever to edit this stuff. But then, I came out with 2 comic books, over 100 pages. I can't even tell you how many images were in that, but it took me a long, long time to do it.
Wow.
First photographic comic book I've ever seen more than like 3 or 4 pages. And it was so much fun. And I would love to kind of do it again, but then I think back about how much time and effort it took.
Yes.
But just the cool lighting, the cinematic editing to it, you know how like comic books, you got your little square and then there's a hand coming out of it. Yeah, I don't know. It was fun. It was a very fun passion project, which kind of opened the door to comic kids.
Yes.
I thought, how could I keep doing this but not make it so big of a project? And then I was working at the hospitals with kids. I'm like, these kids love this stuff. Halloween costume, throw on a Spider-Man outfit, I'll photograph them, put them on a building, shoot in the web somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what comic kids.
Absolutely, that must be fun. I wish I had something in my childhood.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, hey, you got a Spider-Man? You got an outfit you want to wear? You can come into the studio, man. I'll make you look cool. Make you look like a movie poster.
Absolutely. I mean, having something customized to a person's is much more valuable than anything. I mean, than absolutely reading a comic book of someone else.
Yes. Yeah.
It's much more valuable, I believe.
Yeah.
And fun too.
That's cool you brought that up. It's like something that just seems so far back in history now, but it was a It was a
Yes.
heck of a fun project to work on.
I still remember I was reading back in India a comic book that was all about this heroes, and they were doing great things in the community, and that also brought me some cultural values and some heroic values as well, that I can have that in my current life.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was fun talking about that. So doing those 3D animations, this creative task all the way in the West Coast,
Mhm.
does that help you in your business nowadays?
Like the skills from there?
Yes.
I think everything I've done, the skills have just sort of built up over the years. Like I edit my own videos. I do my own graphics. Like I said, like Fanshawe opened me up to some of that stuff. And yeah, I think it's all just compiled. And now I'm like a multimedia mega machine. I can do whatever I want, right? And I think it's all helped. The motion capture stuff's a little bit different. I mean, you kind of need the whole hundreds of thousands of dollars of worth of stuff to get that working. But just skill wise and work ethic and all that, it's probably all stuck with me for sure.
You also do a lot of content creation, majority of those on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Do you feel like it's a second job being an entrepreneur?
I think that is the job. I mean, any solopreneur person out there probably knows you're wearing multiple hats, right?
Yes.
You're doing your job, you're doing the marketing, you're doing the invoices, you're tracking invoices, you're doing all your social media. It never ends.
Absolutely.
And then you're on top of that, you're like, well, I got a little spare time. Let me go learn a new skill. At least me anyways. I can't stop looking at stuff to learn. But yeah, the social media, LinkedIn's my jam. I'm posting on that bad boy probably like 3 times a week. I just found some AI thing that kind of helps with that as well. Like obviously ChatGPT and that stuff too. But I try now this last few weeks, I've been coming up with like themes. So it's like this week's theme is tethering. So I tether to a laptop. And one of the benefits of working like me is I tether to a laptop and get to see the photos in real time. So let's just say you don't think you like your smile, but I get up there and get a nice genuine smile photo. Then you look at the back of the laptop and you see yourself. You're like, oh, wow, like I like that photo. I didn't think I'd like my smile, right? I'm like, perfect. So it's like, that's one of the benefits. That's a post for LinkedIn now.
Awesome.
And, I think the one that's going to come out Friday, because I schedule these things, basically I wasn't doing my clients a service by sending them a photo gallery. So I might send you 25 headshots from a photo gallery, and I wait for you to, let me know which one to edit. And you send me back, oh, I like number 17. And I look at it, I'm like, that's like the worst one in the batch. Why would you pick that one? And I started asking people, what made you pick that one? Well, I don't know. Like the husband liked this one, the wife liked that one, the dog liked this one. I didn't know which one to pick. And I'm like thinking, and then that's like that light bulb, another aha moment. Like, I'm not doing these guys a service. Sit down with me, who has the professional eye, and we'll go through them together, and I can tell you exactly like what's going to be, which one's going to work the best, right?
Sure.
And sometimes they pick the dumb. It might be like a fly hair somewhere, like a 2-second fix in Photoshop, but they don't like the photo, even though they got the best smile in the whole batch. That fly hair is like why they wouldn't pick it. So I'm like, don't worry about that. Just the facial expression. That's all you have to worry about. The fly hair, anything else is Photoshop or whatever, right? So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing with LinkedIn, and that's how people are finding me. That's how you found me, I think, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay. So it's working.
Sure.
Well, it's funny. I go to networking events and people are like, you're that LinkedIn headshot guy. I'm like, yeah, cool. That's what I like to hear. It's working.
We talk a lot about productivity, having a high performance life in general. So how do you ensure that you stay sharp in your business, focusing on other pillars of your life as well, like health, relationship, following a specific diet, maybe going to the gym, eating healthy, working out? How do you manage that?
Yeah. Well, I'll stop you right there. There's no diet. I eat a bunch of junk and it catches up to you. But yeah, I think we mentioned earlier, I'm starting to schedule my shoots a little bit later in the day. That way in the morning can be kind of like my time.
Hmm.
You know, I get the kids ready, off to school she goes, and then I can get a workout in. And I think that's a great way to start the day. Energizes you, and it's not, you can't make excuses later in the day just to
Sure.
say, oh, I'm too tired today. I don't want to go to the gym at like 5 o'clock. So you get it over with, and then I start getting into my work mode. And yeah, then I'm just doing my shoots and everything. That's basically the routine. At night, I'm working on drone stuff and AI stuff.
Hmm.
I got sometimes I wish there was more time.
Absolutely.
There's just so much cool stuff out there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I want to learn it all, but then you're like, well, then what do I do with these skills? Like, do I have to market this now, and do I have to market that now?
Yeah.
So it's I wish I could clone myself sometimes.
Right. You mentioned you're working on drones as well.
Yeah.
What's that project now?
Well, also do real estate photography.
Okay.
And when you're in that, it's photos, video, drone, floor plans, 360 camera stuff. So it introduced me to drones. And at first, someone's like, hey, can you do drones for this house? I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I didn't even have a drone. So off I go. I buy a drone. I go out to the field, you know, learn to get it up there. And it scared the heck out of me. That thing scares the heck out of me. Then I started to like it. And then I started getting better at it and doing cinematic shots with it. And then I saw a video online of like this FPV, first person view drones, where you got the headset on, you're looking through the camera through your eye set there, and they're like smaller. And it's this guy was like doing it behind the scenes at like a resort in Mexico.
Hmm.
He's like, I'm gonna come through the lobby, I'm gonna shoot through this skylight, come down by the pool. The waitress is gonna someone's gonna do a cannonball. I'm gonna go by them. I'm gonna go by the restaurant. The waitress is gonna leave some drinks, and then I'm gonna fly out and show off the whole resort and the beach and the water. I'm like, what the heck was that? I'm like, that was super cool.
Sure.
And then that's like one of those aha moments. Like, what creative stuff could I do if I learned this? So I'm in the process of learning the FPV drone. I'm not gonna lie, it's one of the hardest things I've been learning. To fly it manually is tough. But I can't wait to see what I do with it.
Do you think it's easier when you have the FVP or the first person view to fly that drone versus you can see the view on a phone or maybe screen?
Yeah.
Which one's easier?
Probably the screen. When the first person view one, you could be doing flips and spins. And the very first time I did it, I had to sit down. I did it standing up because that's how I always do my regular drone. And I was on there. And I'm just like, oh my God, I gotta sit down. It was dizzy at first. I'm quite used to it now, obviously, but yeah, it's cool, man. But I think the headset's probably the harder one of the two.
We also talk about books a lot, and I have some of the books here as well.
I recognize them, yeah.
Majority of them are very popular books, probably the best-selling books. And following to that, are you reading a book? Are you a book reader?
Yes.
Or book enthusiast? So I call myself book enthusiast because I have a habit of buying all the books that I can.
Yeah.
And keeping it in my shelf.
Yes. Yes, I've got a nice pile too.
I read those books as well, but not as efficient or as fast as I buy books.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I was big on audiobooks for a while. I was a member of audiobooks, the Amazon one there.
Yeah.
When I was doing that animation job, and I'm sitting there for 8 or 9 hours, mindlessly doing the editing, I went through a lot of audiobooks. But once I left that job, I don't find I have a lot of time to listen to the books. Maybe if I'm on a longer car drive or something. So I'm like, all right, I'm going back to regular books, and I'm going to try and read these. I think I mentioned earlier, I try and read them at night, which is probably not the best time. Like I said, I'd be, a couple pages in and book will drop in my face. I'm like, all right, I'm not getting anywhere with this book. But like I mentioned, I have a pretty cool one now. I'm going through now, and yeah, I think it's pretty good. I like it. I never thought I'd be like a reading type person. If you knew me back in school, I did not like it at all. But it's interesting when you get it started your own business. You're like, you start reading these books of other people have been doing it, and
Right.
just kind of gets you driven.
You have built a thriving business. You created comics. You created some fun-loving memories for those child whom you have created those comic posters.
Yeah.
And you are in great shape as well. If you had to define what a successful Reid Lucier look like, what that would be?
What a successful, that's a good question, man. I kind of feel I'm living half of it now, man. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like not working for someone else, kind of doing my own thing. I love that aspect. Like if it's Friday and I don't want to work and I want to go for lunch and grab a couple beers with the boys, I can do that. If I want to go on vacation, I don't have to budget how many days I got and I can just take off whenever I want. I think that's sort of the life. Like if I hit the lottery tomorrow, I would still be doing headshots. There would be no pressure for money, but I'd still be doing headshots and creative stuff. Probably somewhere warmer though. Yeah, maybe somewhere down south in a nice tropical area. But I feel like I'm not too far off from what the ideal life would be.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that brings us to the end of the podcast.
Yeah. Nice.
Thank you very much for being here. I absolutely loved the conversation that we had, even though we met for the very first time.
Yes.
But pleasure meeting you, and I wish you all the best in your business and whatever else you do in your life. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching the entire podcast. If you find a single value from this episode, please consider it subscribing and sharing with at least one person whom you think might benefit. This was Reid Lucier on the podcast series, The Conversations with Florid. Until then, keep figuring it out, and I'll see you in the next one.